How to turn one of your worst days into one of your best days. Find out on today's episode.
Why do you coach? So that's after swimming through the night, right? Everything, right?
Essentially, so you can see land. So
it was still nighttime. It was 4 a.m. or whatever it was. But yes.
Okay, so that is. I need to know your initial thoughts, and I know you, and then how your thoughts change. I want to hear your thought pattern through this, like with.
So I wasn't happy. I mean, I thought I'd done everything the right way at the time. Mm-hmm. I knew I could keep swimming. I still contend to this day that I could have finished the swim.
Yeah.
But I understand what my friends on the boat were thinking, and I understand if I were the captain, I probably would have done the same thing with all the data that he had.
Yeah.
And that's where I come back and blame myself, because I didn't control. Because once it's kind of like work. I mean, you'll realize this as you go on in your career. There's things that you have to do ahead of time, or coach. If you're a coach, right? Right. You've got a lot of stuff to do ahead of time. And once the game starts, there's just some things you can't go back and do.
Yeah,
right?
Exactly.
Like I know this one. There's JO qualifiers for water polo start today, right? And I know this one club that's like they did a
Junior Olympics.
Junior Olympic qualifiers.
Yep.
The Junior Olympic qualifier for the Northeast Zone starts today, goes through the weekend. And then from there, they decide which teams go play in JOs in California, in Junior Olympics in California for water polo. But I know this one club that they totally broke up their normal practice schedule this week, and they crammed, right? And they're working on stuff. It's like, it's too late, right? You should have been doing this back in January, right? The stuff you're trying to get done the week before, right?
Yeah.
And so I say the same thing about myself in marathon swimming is that it was too late. By the time I even started that swim, my deficiency in project management and controlling that boat was over. Because again, you're not talking. You're not having a conversation. If they decide you're delirious, even if you're not, they're not listening to you anyway, right? And my tongue had swollen up really big, and I couldn't even talk, right? So it's just like, I mean, people don't realize you go through a lot. Your face changes, everything changes just because you're in salt water for 10 hours.
Yes,
right?
You're not going to look like you do right now.
Right. Right. I don't look good now either, but I look even worse. But
no comment.
But I didn't handle the project management, is what it is, right? And so the captain was getting data that. Even part of my crew were telling him he needs to stop. He needs to stop. He shouldn't keep going. It's just like, dudes, well, I didn't prepare them for what I was going to look like.
Yeah.
I didn't prepare them. My face is going to swell up. I'm not going to be able to. I knew all that stuff, right? But I had crew on the boat that were there to help me, which I'm grateful. Their friendship and all that kind of stuff, right? They're sacrificing their time and energy and all that kind of stuff. I'm very grateful. But I didn't prepare them. And this is why, Nick, we talk about this multiple times in the show. If you're not through lots of episodes, and this is really solidified it in my life. It's just like, okay, I didn't make it. I was a half mile from shore. I can sit around, blame everybody's decisions, everybody's participation, but it wasn't going to get me to achieve my lifetime dream to swim the English Channel. And so I had to ask myself what I was going to do differently. And Carly, I will tell you, I'm pretty proud of how fast I got there to that mindset.
Yeah.
But I will admit to you, right, so I was so worked up, right?
I would be.
I mean, I'm thinking of Carly. I mean, she's asking that. I mean, you tell me, Carl, but you're asking me that, asking you the mindset question because you would have lost your mind.
Lost my mind. I give you so much credit.
Too. Don't get me wrong.
And you did. You said it took some time and some reflection, but I would be so angry, and I would blame people. Like, I think, I mean, I give you so much credit, and I think that's such a skill, and I don't know what the word is, like, to take accountability for that, where
It's a
they,
self, yeah.
I mean, because in my mind, and again,
Yeah.
I didn't reflect, like, I would be like, you stop me from my dream a half mile away, and I would be livid. But I appreciate that you reflected on that, and then
Well, I'm not going to tell you it was right away. When I say it was fast, it
Yeah.
wasn't instantaneous, because I will tell you what I did.
I mean,
is
fast, it could be a month. It would still be fast.
it
I
was
mean, I
fast-
think in
it was-
cars.
it
Yeah.
was faster. I was
Yeah.
faster than that. But because it was stopped around 4:30 in the morning, right? It's a 2-hour boat ride back, because I was almost all the way there,
Yeah,
right? So
yeah.
boat going
Yeah.
full out, and then 2 hours back. Went back up to the place that I had rented, tried to sleep, showered, and that, because tried to sleep, and I couldn't sleep. So I went out drinking at 8 in the morning.
Okay.
And he went into the
We'll,
accommodation.
we'll edit that.
No,
I'm just kidding.
No, I mean, if you're younger in the audience, don't right, but
Yeah.
don't.
Can I put a pin? Can I ask you a real quick question?
Yeah.
Do you think you would have been able to rebound, like shift your mindset back to self accountability 20 years earlier? Do you think your maturity
I
or
don't know.
life experiences?
Yeah, I like to think so.
Yeah.
My life, growing
Yeah.
up wasn't all, what's it called?
Rainbows,
And unicorns.
unicorns,
Sunshine or
yeah,
whatever,
yeah.
yeah.
Right. I've had to fight
Yeah.
through some other things. I mean,
Okay.
I've had tough times in my life, and I think those tough times in my life were when I was,
Yeah.
starting out. I mean,
Yeah.
I've
Okay.
you know what I mean?
Yeah,
Like,
yeah, that's
so,
fair. But I do want to, like, Car, you correct if you feel this way.
Yeah.
So I'm asking Carly a question
Yeah.
now. But for Carly and I, maybe our brains, your rebound
Yeah.
of the failure, as all inspiring as swimming, whatever, 20 some miles or 19 or something in this case is, and like that's like mind blowing. That is your recovery to self accountability.
Yeah,
All that is
and how
is
you
like
did it, yes.
is as
So-
unbelievably inspiring or impressive as the race itself.
Totally.
Is that
So-
or not race? Sorry, the swim.
They're not
Totally.
it's races. It's just that's something we should probably like. These aren't races.
No, you're
right?
by
Like,
yourself.
it's you and the boat,
Yeah.
and that's
Yeah.
it, right?
That's fun. And
So-
the sharks.
So
The jelly.
the
Sorry.
critters.
Critters.
But I think let me go back to the captain just for a minute.
Yeah,
I think
yeah.
because he came down because once you touch the ladder, it's over, right?
Yeah,
So
yeah.
he ordered me out. He came over to help me out, and he grabbed me, and I pulled up, and the look on his face was like, oh my gosh,
He's fine.
You're
he
fine.
he can still pull up. I
Yeah.
can just see the look on his face,
my
right? And so
And then you went.
Yeah.
no,
a
again,
swing
I
at
didn't really know everything yet.
Yeah.
I went back and I interviewed everybody on the boat to
I
try to
mean-
figure out what happened, all that kind of stuff.
And
But-
that in of itself, I just like, I know you're brushing past it, but like
That's what.
that is so like I don't know, like to me, like that is so impressive and like something I would never think of. Like it goes beyond just the like preparing for the race or like the physical aspect. It's like I think it encompasses how big of a process this
It's
is
re-
and how much like yeah, I was gonna say dedication, but it takes to do this because it's clearly not just physical. And that to me is one, I mean, I keep saying that's the most impressive thing. There's like so many, but that is so like I don't know, like inspiring. Is
Yeah,
that,
thank
Yeah.
But the captain was great, and we've become good friends since then. We exchanged birthday notes still to this day, and all that kind of stuff. But he was even great, like immediately. Right, he called me at noon that day to see how I was doing, and I said,
Couldn't pick up.
I spent 6 hours here, and I bet now I'm at this bar now. He was
Yeah.
like, "Oh, I guess you're okay, right?" Because I didn't even go to sleep.
Yeah.
Right? I'd been up, I swam all through the night, and I couldn't go to sleep because I was so upset. I was
Yeah.
so mad, right? But what happened is that, so I was doing all this. Captain figured out, where I was, and I figured out where he was, and all that kind of stuff. He made the right decision with the data he had,
Yeah.
right? I don't blame him at all. And, but then what I don't, you're talking about, you watch the film A Dream Plus a Plan,
Yeah.
right? Yeah. So what's not in that at all is that I actually, 2.5 weeks later, he calls me and says, Anthony, I have a slot that just opened up next week. It's yours if you want it. I flew back out right then.
You flew back out to
3 weeks later.
Yeah.
Or like I flew out like the next day.
Yeah.
Right, to go try it again.
Oh my gosh.
3 weeks later. Now I couldn't go because the waves, the swells picked up, and I could see, because I went at the same place again, and I could see the channel from the place, and the waves are so big they were breaking over the freighters. It was
Wow.
insane. So he couldn't even take his boat out, much
Okay.
less get permission to take a swimmer out.
Yeah.
So I didn't go out,
Yep.
but I went back, which was awesome because I sat down with him multiple times and talked to him face to face about what happened.
Wow.
And
Yeah.
we developed our own systems and our own stuff and all that. And then so the next summer when I went back, right, he and I had this little code between us. And he said, I don't care what happens with your crew, as long as you can say this word, which has the F-bomb in it, is a boat.
Yep.
As long as you can say this phrase, no matter what's going on with anybody else,
Yeah.
I'll let you keep swimming. Right? And so he and I got to be that close. We had a secret that I didn't even tell
I
my
don't think I
support
knew
team.
that. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, yeah. I'm
Yeah, I know it now.
telling you now.
It's in the video if you
Part
watch
of the
it.
code phrase is, but the fact that when it happened, it only happened where we really bonded when I went back 3 weeks later. So even though I didn't
Yeah.
even get a chance to swim, the fact that I went back was good because I was able to gather more data and start to lay out a plan.
That's cool.
And again, Carly, you're giving me credit, but really anytime you're not getting the outcome that you want, and it's important to you, you have to dissect what happened.
Yeah.
You have to dive into it.
And that reminds me of something else I want to say is that you take something, or you take ideas or thoughts that are so simple, like something like that, like when you take action, you get feedback, and then you adjust.
Right.
How we can apply that to anything we do, sports,
Sales.
but you use that mindset and that framework to do something so big that it's so impressive that that type of mindset is applicable to anything, and from the smallest level to the largest level of swimming the English Channel. And you emphasize literally what you said, what is it, a dream plus a plan becomes a goal, that phrase. And then it truly does how the way you went about it, because you swim the English Channel. It's something that, again, to me, that framework is so simple, but if you can apply it to everything, and if you're so diligent about the process, which you were, it becomes this success.
So, yeah, one of the things that is, again, not in that film that you're talking about, but I like to tell my kids, I like to tell people about it. It's just I started when I was 50, right? And swimming around Key West literally almost killed me, right? Warm water, 12 miles. 7 years later, right, I've done Cook Strait, which is between the two islands in New Zealand. I've done Catalina. I've swum around Manhattan. I have a Guinness World Record for a swim I did in Brazil. I've done the length, not the width, the length of Lake Tahoe. I've done a bunch of other swims, right?
Yeah.
But somehow this one clicked on in a way because it's a relatively easy swim. It's only 9 miles, but it's from Spain to Morocco, right? The water was 59-60 the whole way, right? It's 9 miles, right? But I was 7 years older when I did it, right? And it was easy, right? When I started at 50, doing 12 miles in warm water was hard. 7 years later, at 57, it was I won't call it a snooze, but it was a joy swim, right? It was, It was beautiful.
Yeah,
it was like you see the hills of Africa.
could enjoy
as you're
it.
swimming.
Yeah.
It was. And the water was crystal clear, and there was tropical fish there, even though it was 60 degrees, but it was awesome, right? There was no threat at all, right? It was just, so if I can go from 50 to 57 at that age and go from totally incompetent to relatively competent, right? what can people do that are teenagers?
Yeah.
What can people do that are your age
Yeah.
if you start now? Like
Yeah.
again, the English Channel was my dream,
Yeah.
right? And I know we're talking about sports and coaching and athletics here, but your dream can be anything.
Yeah.
Anything.
Right?
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
I mean,
yeah.
like if you decide tomorrow that you want to go be a writer, I don't know if you want to be a writer, but like if you work at it every single day for the next 7 years, you're going to be way better than you are now.
Yeah.
Right? Whatever
Totally.
your dream is. So I just, that's really a life lesson that sticks with me. So I don't, you know what I mean? So at my age, starting a podcast with your dad, right? It's just like, well, you know what? I could be 7 years older and not tried it, or I can be 7 years older and, maybe become competent at it, right?
Yeah.
And so I think this show is a wonderful way to help people in an exponential way. Like if we can help one coach get better at one thing, how many players is that going to impact for the rest of their lives?
Totally.
And so it's that mindset of, I may not be good at podcast today. I may be not good at writing today. I may not be good at riding a bicycle today.
Yeah.
But if I work at it for 7 years, what can I do?
Yeah.
Right?
It's like little things building up, little atomic habits, if you will.
Yes.
you
That
know?
was a great book.
Yeah.
Well,
Atomic
and for everyone listening, one of our, I don't know if Cara knows this or not, but one of our mantras that I made, it was probably my push that Anthony was a little bit resistant on, is the English Channel is possible. So when we talked about
love that.
when we
I just got
talked
chills.
about
I just got chills.
when we talked about like the podcast and how could it be successful and all these things, it was the more I talked, I said to Anthony, like, can we add in that, like, the reason I'm doing this is because Anthony believes in me.
Yeah.
So I'm like, here's this guy who swam the English Channel,
Yeah.
among other things,
Yeah.
right? And failed and did it, and
Yeah.
And he wants to do a podcast,
Yeah.
and it's like, well, the English Channel is possible, so
Yeah.
who knows?
We want to do a podcast. You can't put it all on me. We want
No, but
that's wow.
so
We'll be right back to the Nick Anthony Show.
Love sports? Turn that passion into impact. Coach Across America empowers coaches to make a lasting difference through sports-based youth development training, mentorship, and meaningful community connection. Whether you're an athlete, recent grad, or simply looking for a way to give back, coaching is your opportunity to positively impact the next generation on and off the field. Coaching is the answer, and you can be the solution. Visit coachacrossamerica.org to learn how you can get involved.
Welcome back to the Nick Anthony Show.
okay, yeah. I mean,
But people assume, right, that you just got there magically. I had to learn how to swim at night.
Yeah.
Right? Like, it's just an easy example,
Yeah.
right? Because, you swim in a pool, you see the black line. You swim like Alcatraz, you're doing that during the day usually, right? Most people, right? So you can still see, right?
Yeah.
You can't see anything down,
Yeah.
but you're not looking into black. When you're doing these swims, you're looking down into black. Like the English Channel, I bilateral breathe, which means it's 1, 2, 3 strokes, breathe on this side, 1, 2, 3 strokes, breathe on this side. And that means I go about a half a pool length every time I see any light.
yeah.
Because you're looking down, it's pitch black. You're looking this way, there's nothing there, it's black. Then finally you look this way and you see some lights, and then you're trying to align to those lights. So I learned how to swim in a pool and improve my zigzag. I actually close my eyes when I'm looking down in the pool most of the time. When I breathe, I try to align with whatever wall's there. Wow. Right? So I had to learn how to do all that. So when I say 7 years, it wasn't like just learn how to swim a long way or to even deal with it. There's tons of little things that you have to learn how to do, but you don't learn by not trying. You have to go out and fail. Right?
Yes.
And so, anyway.
I think that's a.
What else do you want to ask in your?
Well,
from
I
your
mean,
head,
it's kind of off of that. It's like, okay, so the 7 years, it doesn't.
Well, it was longer than that by the time I stopped. I just somehow the Gibraltar thing really nailed it for me because it was such an easy swim.
I also think like we're talking about like kind of these physical conditions and stuff, but like how, and I'm going to say mentally, I know we're not, it's not like a mental, it's like the knowledge and but like, how did you prepare besides, you did the knowledge, you read about it, and you
Right,
learned
and
that you
I ended
physically.
up like the
Interviewing.
more you go do things, the more people you meet and you ask questions and that kind of stuff.
But
yeah.
how, if you could speak on this, I don't know, like the emotional, like that is like, I think that's almost like what separates you from a very good swimmer who could physically swim it. If that, do you know what I mean? Does that make sense?
This is going to sound really crazy, but anybody can swim in the English Channel, and I really believe that. Right, because there's no time limit. You can take forever.
Yeah.
So if you're really slow, you just have to learn to deal with the cold. Right? You have
Yeah.
to swim, but you have to deal with the cold. If you're really fast, you don't have to deal with the cold as much. You just have to learn how to sprint
Yeah.
for a long way, right? But you don't really deal with the cold because you're working so hard, right? I'm in the middle ground. I'm not really fast, right? And I'm okay with dealing with the cold. So I've got to be in good enough shape so I swim hard to generate the heat, all right? So the point about the E is, or about the emotional strength behind it is, I did lots of little things that I learned how to do. Like because you can't listen to music. You're not allowed to listen to music. You can't have an MP3 player, right? So you have to be really comfortable. The biggest thing is you have to be comfortable in your own head.
Yeah.
Because
For that long.
you're awake, you can see people, you can't talk to them. There's no chit chat, right? You're like, oh my gosh. And every little pain, like, oh, what's that in my elbow? Right? Oh, what's that in my ankle? Like every little, ooh, what was that just brushed against my leg?
I'm doing
Which
that right
happens.
now, and
Yeah.
I'm not swimming.
Right.
Yeah.
Right? But like something brushes against your
yeah.
leg and like, what was that? Like you have to just like be really comfortable in your head. So
Yeah.
I intentionally made my swim workouts as boring as possible. If I'm in a 25-yard pool,
Yeah.
right, I am just doing hundreds on an interval and that's it. And that means you just start, no matter how fast you go again when that time is up.
Yeah.
Right? So I
Yeah.
just do hundreds, which is 4 laps. 4 laps over and over and over. And literally, I think the longest I ever did was like 220 of them in a row, which takes hours,
Yeah.
right? Do the
Yeah,
math.
yeah.
It takes hours, right? And if I'm in a 50-meter pool, I just swim straight. No breaks. Like so many people come to the pool and they've got fins and they've got kickboards and they've
Yeah.
got pull boards. No, nothing. And the coaches today in swimming, they intentionally do things to make the swimmers not get bored, to keep them intellectually
Yes.
engaged.
Totally.
I did the opposite.
Yeah.
I did it so that there was no stimulation, right? Because you're in sensory depth when you're swimming, and it's even if it's just gray, right? Like it's daytime, it's still sensory deprivation because you're not talking to anyone, you're not speaking to anyone, you can't really see much. You know,
Yeah,
you are
yeah.
smelling the water a little bit, depending on the water, right? Like when you go around Manhattan, it has 3 distinct flavors, which then they're not all good. Anyway, I'll tell you about Manhattan later if you want. But so that sensory deprivation is really important. So I would train that way. And then I don't know if you guys have ever swum enough where your goggles fog up. Like I won't let myself clear my goggles.
Wow. You're taking, and I'm saying this in a positive, get comfortable being uncomfortable to like the most extreme. That's.
So yeah,
Yeah.
so
But
even-
that's what you have to. That's the
because
preparation that it takes.
Right, and
almost.
so that first English Channel swim, to put it in perspective, right? I was in for 12 hours and 20 minutes or whatever it was, 12 something, and I still condemned. I could have made it, but my feeding still, I had more to learn about feeding even then. I lost 10 pounds in that swim. So, and it didn't happen in the first half. So let's say I lost 10 pounds in about, 6 hours. Mm-hmm. How much does that hurt?
Yeah.
Right? You have to, it's more than being uncomfortable.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It is on the next level. But so like I wouldn't clear my goggles. And don't do this at home without that, right? But I would intentionally go do my
parent
workouts
consent.
first thing in the morning on weekend days and not have eaten anything from 6 o'clock the night before. So that means I'm hitting the water completely empty and already dehydrated. So that I would get in and then I'd do a super long swim. So I'd be like 15, 16 hours, right? With nothing. when I
To
did this.
prepare for like
To
what
be-
you
but-
were gonna.
But what I was going to experience, because you
Yeah.
can feed during the swim.
Yeah.
So, and you can clear your goggles during the swim when you
Yeah.
stop for your feed.
Wow,
So,
that's-
so when I would swim in a pool, I'm blind, right? I can't see because my goggles are all clogged up, right?
Yeah.
Clogged up, right? But in the marathon swim itself, I managed my E the other way. And so when I take a break, I clear my goggles. Oh, this is pretty cool.
This is easy.
Yeah, I
Wow.
can see.
Yeah.
This isn't so bad, right? So you have to play games. So it's not
Yeah.
playing games; it's managing yourself both ways.
So that's really, I mean, this is amazing, right?
Yeah.
I mean, so, and like, you know, we've obviously, what are we on, 27, 28, 29? No, I'm just making numbers up. But we've done a lot of shows, right? And we've laid a lot of foundation in tools and framework that we've done. And I know in this topic, your accomplishments, but as we've stated earlier, like the process, there's a lot of things that we've taken out and used as our framework. And I know Cara and I were talking as we were preparing for this, and so she has some thoughts on that because she's listened to everything.
Yeah. Something that stuck out to me, and we kind of touched on it, but just it went back to the goal setting episode. And I know you broke it down into different steps and like different processes and being specific about a goal. Like, what does that look like? So can you kind of take me through, or just how did you make this, goal of swimming the English Channel? Like, how did you define that? Like, how were you like, okay, because, it might just be like, okay, I'm going to swim it. How did you break it down so it did become achievable, if that makes sense?
So
with your plan.
Yeah, so we talked about goal setting before, and so first of all, the English Channel is highly regulated. Like if somebody just pops out of the water and says, "Oh, I just swam across the English," that doesn't count, right? Nobody believes them, even if they did it just doesn't count, right? So the rules are there. So in that sense, setting the goal of the English Channel is actually a really easy goal to set. What's harder is, like, let's say you're a salesperson, right? Your boss is giving you a sales quota, but your goal in your head is, you know what? I want to be the number one in the country, or number one, or the record's this, and I want to beat the record. That's your own thing, and you've got to set your own rules around that. Like, I'm going to, like, instead of working 12 hours a day, this is so important to me, I'm going to work 16 hours a day, and I'm going to give up my social life.
Yeah.
And that's okay, because this is that important to me. So having rules around things is really important.
Yeah, we talked about that in our episode.
Yeah.
Like what rules are you playing under? Like to your point, you knew the rules. But there was some rules outside of that too.
Right.
Like you had family, you had to make some sacrifices, or you had to, kind of have the buy-in of family to support this. There were rules behind that you might not think are rules, like in a sense, but there are a lot of things.
Well, my priorities there were three things at that time, and that was my family, my work, and then the English Channel. So I made tons of, I don't know if you want to call them sacrifices or not, but I didn't watch sports. I didn't watch TV.
Yeah.
I didn't, my time was either, doing, because I would do some dry land or weights or whatever, plus swimming. It wasn't just swimming, right? All the time.
Yeah.
It's like, that was my Super Bowl.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
But the one that come to mind for me was the mirrors and windows, right? I mean, the first thing you did was go to a bar at 8:00 in the morning. But after that, then
I guess it was
you looked in the mirror first, and it was like, okay, and maybe it wasn't first, but like and it was like, what did I do? What didn't I do? Right? Am I wrong on that?
Yeah.
Like,
so so you just triggered something. So this is a really personal story.
Yeah. We don't have to get okay.
My brother-in-law at the time was a swim coach when the incomplete swim happened.
Okay.
Right? And so he asked me to come to his swim team and talk to his swimmers about swimming. It's like, I failed. Why should I come talk to anybody about failure? It's like, no, it's still a good example about goal setting. Come talk about goal setting and that kind of stuff. And it's not the presentation. It's not the keynote I do now. It was just come talk to. How many kids are going to be there? I don't know. There'd be like 20 kids there, right? And all high school. Okay, fine. And so I agreed to do it. I get there, and it's a giant chemistry lab classroom. It was really weird. And there's like 150 people there. There's like 75 swimmers and 75 adults. They're all in the room, right? And I don't really have a presentation. I talk for 10 minutes, and then they just start asking questions all over the place, right? And I'm still at this point. This is 3 or 4 weeks after the failure, and I could not sleep. I couldn't sleep because I was still so upset that I did everything the right way. Yeah. I could have done it. I was right there. My lifelong dream. Why was I stopped? You know, just all those like
natural questions.
internal turmoil, right?
Yeah.
Right. I was already back in the water training, and I'd already gone to England and come back to try again.
Oh,
So
wow.
I hadn't given up at all, right? Because I knew when I got out of the water, I knew I could do it, right? And so I had that doubt before then, but when I got ordered out, I knew I could do it. So, but anyway, so in this group of 150 people just getting asked all these questions, and I still, somebody on this side of the room asked, are you going to go back and try again? And I'm going to sound like a weirdo, but there was somebody, I'm not a nut, but I swear it was like a lightning bolt hit me in the head right here. I physically felt something. And there was somebody on this side of the room that was dealing with something way bigger than something in this channel, like way bigger. And I felt like it helped them, like get through what they were going through, and they were going to go try again. Huh. I know that sounds terribly weird.
And hold on, do you know that as a fact that somebody was?
No,
Oh, you just felt
it. Was just
Wow.
boom.
Oh, wow.
And then it was just like, that's why. And then I had my reason why, and I could sleep that night.
Wow.
But I didn't plan that, right? That was just. But I know that makes me sound like a weirdo.
No,
No,
I think
it
that's
makes you
But it
sound
was
human.
just-
yeah.
But it was just somebody over there had something really hard.
Perspective.
Perspective.
Wow. That's amazing.
That
So
is-
I
I
did
was
not
able
know
to
that.
sleep that night,
Yeah.
but I already knew I was going back.
Okay. Wow.
Wow.
That's unbelievable. So many. Yeah. That's powerful.
Yeah, I'm sorry. I'm having a hard time responding because that's so powerful.
Sorry.
Yeah. No. It was. I mean, you accomplished a dream, and then you can go to the moment, or not a moment, but where it emotionally hit you. That. Yeah.
Right. So the other thing I will say is I was mad for a long time about not being stopped. Yes, I took responsibility. Yes, I was taking my actions to accomplish the thing that was so important to me. But I was still like unhappy. I was never happy. But what ended up happening is, so I thought it was really one of the, I know I've had a lot of bad days, and I know people have had a lot of worse days, but it was a really bad day in my life.
Yeah.
Right? Because it was more than a swim for me. Right? But then once I made it, and then people started asking me to do like this, come talk to swim teams, right? And then I could talk about the whole journey.
Yeah.
And I've had people that I've told, done the keynote now for years, and I had people come back to me and said, you helped me this way, you helped me this way, you helped me this way. And so one of the days that I thought was one of the worst days in my life of not accomplishing my dream.
Yeah.
I mean, Nick, we wouldn't be here now doing the show if I had made that first swim.
Yeah.
So it went from
That's an interesting. Yeah.
being one of what I thought was one of the worst days of my life to actually being one of the best days of my life.
Yeah.
And I am, so when I talk about gratitude about things,
Yeah.
I mean it. Like whatever happened, right?
Yeah.
You may not understand at the time, but be grateful.
Yeah. No, that's.
So anyway,
That's
so
amazing.
That's amazing. Truly amazing.
Wow, I feel like we need a part something on this. Like, this
I know.
This is a lot to unpack.
So
but that
anyway,
was
I know
awesome.
you were going back through and talking about things,
Yeah,
but those are
that's-
those are the two things that I don't really talk about a lot.
That's amazing.
I'm
Wow. I almost. I'm sad to end it, really, but
Yeah.
I want to thank you for obviously sharing that, because
Yeah.
you haven't even. I don't know if you fully shared that with me ever.
I don't think I
like
have.
fully. And then obviously I want to thank Carr
Yeah, you
and
know.
Oh,
for
gosh.
being here and helping kind of pull that out. I don't know if I could have got that out by myself. And then obviously
I don't think
think
so.
all of us want to thank again Dick's House of Sport in Wilmington.
Yes. This place
for
is
having
awesome.
us.
Yeah.
Yeah, this is pretty cool setting.
Yeah,
And
Jessica and her team have been just absolutely awesome. It's been great, and Carly, you've been great.
And
But-
I want to give a quick gratitude to everyone here, crew, my cast members, Dick Sporting Goods.
we're not a cast; we're just
everything.
people talking.
I mean, this is, I know, I don't know how formal.
No,
but
sorry, yeah,
This
sorry.
has been awesome, and I love talking. I love talking with people. I love talking with people who are passionate about things, and this is what this podcast is. Two people with a great friendship, and are excited about life, coaching, and beyond. And I just think it's so special to hear two passionate people being excited and joyful about things. So thank you for having me again.
Thanks for being
Thank
here.
you.
And
Thanks, everybody.
Thanks again to Dick's House of Sport.
Thanks for joining us for today's show. We want to hear from you with your questions and comments. You can find us at thenickanthonyshow.com and our social media handles, which you can find in our description.